Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I cannot speak in Korean, so I will deliver my session in English. I hope you don't mind. So let's look at this very interesting topic about DDoS, right? Distributed denial of service, right? So some of you might say, oh, DDoS, yeah, not very interesting, right? Yes, DDoS is not a new problem. In fact, DDoS has been around for many, many years. To be frank, DDoS has been around for more than 10 years, right? The first DDoS came out more than 10 years ago, and then it went quiet for a while. But for some reason, over the last 2 to 3 years, DDoS suddenly become very popular again, right? So today, it's quite easy to, sorry, how do I move? Okay, today, you just need to go to Google, right, or any internet. You just need to do a search for DDoS, and I can tell you, you can easily see a lot of cases of DDoS attack, right? So in the case, I actually extract some of this stuff here, right? So some gaming customer, right? So, right, some government, some banks, right? So these two pages of attack we extract out, these are all only from the month of July this year, right? So basically for 1 month, you can see easily there are like more than 10 attacks. And many of these attacks, they might not be even announced, right? Some customers choose to keep quiet when they get attacked, okay? So one of the very high profile attack that many of you might heard recently is this thing about what we call the DD4BC. It's an attack that's been ongoing for a while, since last year, right? So what does DD4BC stand for? In fact, the DD stand for DDoS, right? Online gaming company, a lot of online e-shopping company, they need to make sure customer can always access their system. So if they were to, so what they do is they will threaten, if you don't pay me X amount of money by this date, I will do a DDoS and bring down the website, right? So you can see this is the email that they actually sent out, right? From DD4BC, which we get from one of the customer, a victim, right? Say your site is extremely vulnerable to DDoS. And you know, they don't ask for a lot. They only ask for 1 Bitcoin, right? They know hackers are smart. If they ask for a lot of money, then this becomes a police case, right? If you ask for 10,000 Bitcoin, people will report to police. But if you ask for 1 Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin, most company will say, okay, I just pay, right? And then keep quiet, right? Nobody knows. But guess what? The moment you pay that 1 Bitcoin, I don't know why I keep moving. Okay. The moment you pay this 1 Bitcoin, the hacker know your weakness. And they will come back and ask for 1 Bitcoin again, 10 Bitcoin again, every few other months, right? So it's endless, okay? So regarding this DD4BC, Arbor, my company, we did a detailed study. And this is basically some of the victim, right? Some of the customer, right? Because why some? Because as I said, some customers choose to keep quiet and they don't announce, okay? These are activity that we have been tracking, right? Starting from early last year to basically May this year. And as we believe, this attack is still ongoing, right? It haven't really stopped yet, right? So you can see that this is pretty widespread. So let's quickly look into some of the attack characteristic, right? So first, the hacker will issue a small volume DOS attack, basically 10 to 15 gig as a warning, right? Then they will send an email to ask for money, and if the victim don't pay up, then they claim they will launch a much bigger DDoS, 400 to 600 gig kind of DDoS attack, right? So basically, it's to cripple your online services, to disrupt your service, okay? And what are the attacks that they actually use? Basically, we observe they use mainly SSDP, NTP, kind of amplification attack. So basically, these are layer 3, layer 4 attack. And to some extent, they also use the layer 7 attack, which is XML RPC kind of attack. Okay? They use a lot of what we call the booter or stressor. As you know, the hacker completely also have an ecosystem, right? They don't have to write the attack tools. They don't have to do source code. They can just buy service from the booter or stressor service, and they can launch attack easily. Okay? Yeah. So basically, after the small attack, they will send a ransom, and then they do a big attack. So this is a very detailed timeline of one of the victims, Nitrogen Sport, right? So basically, they are being threatened on July 31st last year. And yeah, and then basically, after the deadline has been over, they actually fire SYNCFlood, SSDP, NTP kind of attacks going through, and then followed by DNS kind of attacks that's going through. Okay, so as Arbor, as a company, we do have the capability to track a lot of this attack, which I'll share with you shortly why we are able to do that. And this is where the attack is coming from. So based on this Nitrogen Sport, we are seeing the attack basically come from more than 300 over 1,000 source IP across the world, right? So they have from different sources, right? And of course, US, Europe, and of course, Asia Pac is not being spared, right? So this is why they call this a distributed DOS attack, because the attack source is coming from everywhere, right? So sometimes this poses a challenge of how to effectively protect against DDoS attack, distributed DDoS attack. Okay, so that's a quick case study on the DD4BC, right? Arbor, we have actually come up with a very detailed white paper on the DD4BC. So if you're interested, visit our booth out there, give your email address, and we're able to send you the detailed report on the DD4BC. Huh? So let's quickly move on to talk about the DDoS, right? So as I say, DDoS has been around for many, many years, right? But although only the last 2 to 3 years it became very active, but it never disappeared since it came out 10 years ago. But over the years, we observed some changes to DDoS. DDoS has evolved, right? We call it evolving trend. So one of the trends we see is the DDoS is getting bigger, right? 10 years ago, I have 100 meg DOS, I'm champion, right? But today, the biggest DDoS happened in history happened last year. Last year, we have a 400 gig of DDoS attack. 400 gig is quite big, okay? It can cripple a lot of even service provider or telco, right? Not only the DDoS get bigger, it also start to become more complex. Early day DDoS are very easy. ICMP flood, UDP flood, layer 3, layer 4 attack, we say. But if you look recently, the attack has now moved on to what we call layer 7, right? DNS, NTP, HTTP kind of attack, right? So they also start to become more complex. And of course, we also know we are getting more and more attack over the last 2 to 3 years, right? So, yeah, so this is another graph to show you, right, how the DOS attack has actually grown from a very small, maybe less than 10 gig initially about 10 years ago until where we have today, a 400 gig kind of DOS attack. So today, based on our research, a DOS of 100 gig and above are not uncommon, right? Once a while, every few months, you might get a DOS attack of 100 gig and over, okay? So, okay. Then, who are the victims, right? So, based on our survey, you can see that the top 5 victims are really the financial, FSI, the banks, right, the trading firm, followed by online gaming, government, e-commerce, and also the ISP subscriber, right? So today, these are the top 5. But really, frankly speaking, those victims can be anyone, right? It doesn't mean that you must be this top 5, right? If the government come up with some policy, the hacker not happy, they will launch attack. There's a protest in Hong Kong, the hacker will launch a DOS attack, right? So today, there are many, many reasons, right? But typically, these are the more common ones because they know this industry depends on online service for their business, right? If I'm an online gaming, if I bring down the network for 1 hour, it will affect the reputation, right? All my gamer will lose the revenue, so they can do the ransom activity, right? So quickly talk about Arbor. Arbor as a company, we has been doing DDoS longer than any other vendor in the world. Since 2000, we already start providing visibility followed by DDoS protection to our customer. So today, we have 14 years experience in handling DDoS, okay? And we have some success. All right, Arbor, as some of you might know, we started off doing the service provider, or the telecom player, or the ISP. So today, 90% of tier 1 telco are actually using Arbor solution, right? And we are deployed worldwide. And yeah, we are the #1 player in the space, right? So this is a quick overview, right? Since 2000, we have been heavily involved, right? And along the year, we have matured our technology, right? So today, I would say we have a very matured solution which will provide an end-to-end DOS protection to any customer, right? So this is a third-party report from Infonetics, right? Arbor is a #1 player in the DDoS. And another report from Frost & Sullivan. Basically, it actually put Arbor into here in terms of the market penetration and also the market demand. And so I'm not sure any one of you know this thing, but in fact, Arbor today, we have 25 patents just on DDoS, right? So I can say, unless I'm wrong, I'm not aware any other vendor or my competitor have 25 patents just on DDoS. And Arbor, we have 25 patents, okay? And we have a very extensive network that allow us one very key advantage. Allow us to analyze up to 120 terabits per second of traffic anytime. So, of course, the number itself doesn't mean anything. 120 terabits per second is equal to 1/3 of the internet traffic today. So basically, Arbor, as a company, we can analyze and inspect up to 1/3 of the internet traffic, right? Why is this important? Because all here, sitting down there, I believe you're all security expert. And in security, we have one saying, you cannot protect what you can't see, right? So if I will change a bit, the more I see, I can see 1/3 of internet traffic, the more I can protect, right? So this is the simple rules for security, right? And because of this advantage, we actually create this thing called the digital attack map. So basically, Google have actually decided to work with Arbor to create this real-time DOS attack map. I say that. So what is this thing? So basically, this is a map. So basically, this is a partnership between Google and Arbor Network. So Google choose to work with Arbor because Google know that Arbor have 1/3 of the internet visibility. So we put together this website, which is www.digitattackmap.com, and this is free. No need to pay money. Any one of you can go to this website and you'll get this website, right? No need to subscribe, no need to register, right? Everyone can enjoy. So you will get to see this world map. And what is all this colorful line? This colorful line show you the DOS attack that is ongoing currently. If you put your mouse into one of these pointers, you will flash out and show you. Okay, in this case, Malaysia is attacking Brazil. How big is the DOS attack? 2.6 gig. When it started, when it stopped, how long it lasts, and some of the characteristic, right? So this is real. Of course, this is a screen capture. If you go, you actually see yesterday date. Not because it's yesterday, it is because this is based on US timing, right? So Asia is always 12 hours ahead. But based on US timing, it's actually the up to the current timing, right? And there's a lot of things you can do with this thing. You can actually go in and, all right? So in fact, we actually keep the statistic for 1 year. So you can move your timeline into any time of the year. Over here, I can move back to this date. And then you see on December 23rd, there's a massive DOS attack ongoing, right? Attacking, I don't know, this Venezuela, I think, US, right? So those who like fall from the sky, basically we don't know where is the source IP, because sometimes hacker is very smart to mask the source IP, right? So you can get all the information. So likewise, you can just move your pointer to one of these things. Of course, the bigger the dot, means the bigger the attack. And yeah, from unknown to Peru, 108 gig of DOS attack, right? So it's a massive DOS attack, okay? We can also have something interesting. You can pull the timeline to any time, and you play the play button. It will then basically refresh and show you every day, right? So basically, you can see DOS attack is very active now, right? Well, some people say I'm not being attacked over the last 6 months, but you may be attacked next week or next month. Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows. But what I can tell you is DOS attack is very active nowadays, okay? Yeah, so you can play around. We also have some gallery that you can actually go in and we will capture some of this interesting DOS attack that happened over the past 1 year. And you can go in and trace back some of the interesting attack that you have, okay? So that is the digital attack map. I will encourage you to actually go and take a look, right? It's free, right? Don't have to register. No even need to give out email address, so there's nothing to worry. And it gives you real world DOS attack statistic, right? Which is very useful, right? So Arbor as a company, we also do a lot of research, and we also regularly publish paper and then share this with our customer or the public, right? We also produce report like what we call the Worldwide Infrastructure Security Report to actually show the traffic trend, the DOS attack trend. And all this, we also share this with the public, right? Just need to either go to our website to download, or you can contact our local Arbor team for this information, okay? So let's quickly now move into the DOS problem itself, okay? When a DDoS attack happens, assuming enterprise, where will you face the problem? The first location is the normal one, that your ISP upstream will be congested. All right, this is the most traditional DOS attack. The hacker will flood your bandwidth. Okay? But as I shared upfront earlier on, DOS attack is getting more and more complex. Today, hacker no longer just attack here. They also attack, some of you might be surprised, your firewall, your IPS, your load balancer, your WAF, right? Some people will say, are you sure? I'm buying firewall to protect my environment. So you're saying that now the DOS hacker can hack my firewall, my IPS, my WAF, my load balancer? Well, the sad truth is yes, right? If you want to know more, we can talk in my booth. But just share one thing, very basic. What does firewall, IPS, WAF, load balancer, proxy has in common? All these are stateful devices. Stateful means that At any time, they can only support a fixed number of connection, right? Let's say firewall. This firewall, you look at a data sheet, no matter any brand, any model. Let's say this firewall support 1 million concurrent connection. So the hacker will do is 1, 2, 3, 4 until 1 million. Hold it there. This one come in, 1,000,001. What happened? No more connection table, drop. 1,000,002, drop. 1,000,003, drop. Is this a DOS? Yeah, it's a DOS, right? DOS is deny of service. As long as I deny the legitimate, the good user from accessing, this is a DOS. Okay? So with the same concept, the hacker can also attack your server because every server only have a fixed amount of transaction. Once they use the zombie or botnet to fill up their transaction table, the rest is DOS, right? So when you talk about DDoS, DDoS is about attacking resource. DDoS is not about attacking malware, APT, no. DDoS is just use up your resource. Use up memory resource, use up state table resource, use up transaction resource. That's how DOS attack. Okay? So as I said, Arbor has been doing this thing over the last 14 years. So today, we have developed a total solution for DDoS. Whether you are a service provider, whether you are the ISP, or whether you are an enterprise, online gaming, banks, government, we have a solution for you, right? So our solution is a multiple tier, right? There are one tier, which is what we call the on-premise, which is deploy what we call a Prevail APS in your data center, in your enterprise network. And then we have another one, which is more on the cloud-based offering, right? So we have our own Arbor Cloud. We also work with the local service provider or ISP to offer what we call a cream pie service, okay? So why we need a multiple tier solution, right? Some people say, why can't I just put one box here? If you go back and take a look, if I put one box here, I can protect the state exhaustion and the service exhaustion, but I cannot protect the bandwidth, right? You cannot protect something in front. You only can protect behind. If I put something here, I can only protect behind. I cannot protect in front. Okay? So I'll share with you later why. Because today, everybody will claim they can do DDoS, to be frank, right? Which firewall cannot do DDoS? Which IPS cannot do DDoS? Which load balancer cannot do DDoS, right? Today, everyone will claim they can do DDoS. But the question is, can they really give you a good DDoS protection? Can they really give you a end-to-end protection? Okay, so let me quickly move on. Okay, so so I said on the cloud side, we have solution for service provider who can use our solution and offer a cream pie service to their customer, or customer can choose to work with our Arbor Cloud, Arbor manage Arbor own cloud service. And today for Arbor Cloud, we have a global network that we can help to scrub up to 1.12 terabyte of DOS attack, right? So today, the biggest DOS attack we see is 400 gig, so we still have a bit of capacity. By next year, we will increase this to 2 terabyte. So we got 4 scrubbing centers, 2 in the US, 1 in the East Coast, 1 in the West Coast, 1 in Europe, Amsterdam, and 1 in Singapore right now, right? So the goal is to clean the attack traffic nearer to the source. That's the goal, okay? And how do we get traffic into Arbor Cloud? We're using technology like DNS and BGP redirection to actually achieve that, okay? And of course, on the on-premise side, we have our Prevail APS, as I explained. So where do we deploy the Prevail APS? We actually deploy it just after the router, in front of everything else. Why? Because we want to protect the firewall, the IPS, the load balancer, and the server, right? As we explained. So by putting here, we can protect everyone behind. So I know some of you might ask the question, maybe on Facebook later, why can't the hacker attack my APS, right? If the hacker can attack the firewall, the hacker can attack the IPS, why can't they attack my APS? Well, valid question. So, but as I say, the hacker can attack this because these guys are all stateful. The unique point about Arbor API is this is a stateless solution, right? So it's much harder to actually hack, okay? Yeah, so the APS basically is a specialized solution designed purely to do DDoS. And I just list out here, these are the DDoS countermeasure you find on the APS. I can challenge you, you will never see this amount of DDoS feature in any so-called firewall, nation firewall, nation IPS, load balancer, WAF, right? This is only on DDoS because we are a DDoS specialist. And we even have the option to do SSL. We can decrypt the traffic and look into the encrypted payload because hackers now also try to hide their information, right? And we even have security intelligence that go in, that in addition to DDoS, we are able to provide all this protection using reputation, using signature kind of protection, right? So of course, yes, Arbor is on DDoS, but we also start to provide additional protection, like even email threat, APT, mobile kind of protection, right? So, yeah. So as I said, today, of course, we have the on-premise solution. So this guy can protect anything below here, right? So if there's an attack that launch, this guy can protect this firewall for big attack. But DDoS attack is different from, normal attack. You see, I'm a hacker. I launch an attack, and I check the website is still up. So what the hacker do? The hacker will launch a bigger attack. He will launch more and more attack. When he tries to launch a bigger attack, maybe sometime he will try to congest the ISP upstream. When this happens, the hacker wins because the goal for hacker is to do denial of service, right? When he congests this link here, no one can access here, he wins. So Arbor APS, we have a very nice signature. We call this cloud signal, where we can send a SOS signal to the upstream solution, whether it's our PeakFlow solution on a carrier, and we can ask the upstream provider to help us to do the protection. The same thing applies for Arbor Cloud as well. We can send a signal to Arbor Cloud. Okay? So as I mentioned, what's the challenge of using firewall, IPS, load balancer to do DOS, right? Today, every firewall vendor will claim they can do DDoS, right? So these are the two high-level comparison. Number one, this solution, they are weak on DDoS, right? IPS is designed for vulnerability protection. A firewall is designed for security policy. They are not really designed to provide DDoS. So their DDoS is just some add-on, right, for RFI, RFP. So when it comes to a real DDoS, they are not very advanced. They have some, but only can provide us very limited coverage, right? So not only they are weak, but they themselves can be DOS because they are stateful equipment, right? So the best is to have a solution like a Preview APS, which is a stateless, and a solution specific for DDoS to be in front of them and protect the organization from DDoS. So lastly, this is a summarized slide. I say we have been doing this thing over the last 14 years, so we have a proud history about understanding DDoS and provide a good solution. We have a global network that allows us to see, sorry, this is not updated. Now it's 120 terabit per second of traffic, right? And it's a proven technology because 90% of service providers actually use our solution. And of course, we are not providing you a point solution that solves some problem, right? We actually able to provide you with a total solution to offer a total protection for DDoS. Okay? So with this, I will basically end my presentation. So thank you. I know there are some questions. Okay. I hope it's in English, not in Korean. So. Of course, the best response to this is to strengthen your DDoS protection, right? As I say, to pay is a quick solution, but it's not solving the problem, right? So the best, of course, the best is to use Arbor if you can. If not, you can look into whatever you have in your existing solution, right? As I say, today, many solution has DDoS protection. It's just basically how well or how complete they can protect. So as I said, for DD4BC, SSDP and NTP, again, you can use something like regular expression, right? You can use IP blacklist to actually do it, right? To achieve some extent of that. So I'm not sure 100% of can block out by separating normal traffic and hacking. That's really what Arbor do, right? Because you see, what is so difficult for DDoS? We all know that the bad traffic, the hacker traffic are the bad traffic. So in the way of like a malware attack or basically, right, you can use signature to identify this is a malware or not. But in DOS attack, it's not easy to use signature, right? Because when you do an ICMP flood, all the ICMP traffic are normal ICMP traffic. When you do an NTP flood, all the NTP traffic are normal NTP traffic. You can't really differentiate from the signature point of view which is a good NTP traffic or which is bad, because they're all good. So we have to use other technology or called countermeasure to differentiate. For example, this is an NTP coming from botnet. This is an NTP coming from a bad source versus this is NTP coming from a legitimate user, right? So that's why, in my personal opinion, technology that rely on signature, like IPS, they are really not designed to provide a good DOS solution, because for doing DOS, you can't rely on signature only, alone, to actually differentiate that, okay? So what do you think about the best solution without relation to ISP, right? So yes, as I explained, in a total solution is a multiple tier solution, right? So they have on-premise solution using the Purveil APS from Arbor point of view. There's also a ISP solution providing. So typically, in a normal scenario, the ISP are usually designed more to provide big volume DOS attack, right? The ISP is the one that makes sure that your ISP bandwidth is not being congested. The ISP usually don't take care of the small application layer attack, right? This is where enterprise like you and me have to also be responsible to deploy a on-premise solution to take care of the application layer small attack, right? In DOS attack, layman, I always tell some customer, we can divide into big and small attack based on packet bit per second, fast and slow based on packet per second, right? So typically, the ISP usually is very effective to take care of the big attack. But the small and slow attack typically is best to actually protect in your own environment by deploying a solution like a Purveil APS. Okay. Last one. How do you protect HTTP attack? This is a very good question, because today almost every bank traffic, FSI, right, or e-shopping are encrypted. That's why, if you recall, I show you that we have a add-on card that we can add on to the Purveil APS. And of course, you import the right key and the cert into the card. We can decrypt SSL traffic and look into the payload to see if there's any attack trying to hide inside the encrypted payload, right? So to answer a question, for Arbor Purveil APS, whether it's encrypted or not encrypted, we can sniff out the attack. Okay, so
네,
Am I supposed-
답변 감사드립니다. 아직도 질문이 남아 있습니다만 시간 관계상 Q&A 세션은 여기서 마치도록 하겠습니다. 올라온 질문 가운데 강연자분께서 질문 하나를 선택해 주시면 저희가 바로 선물을 전달해 드리는 시간을 갖겠습니다. 토니 테오 이사님, 이번 시간에 베스트 퀘스천을 선택해 주시기 바랍니다.
Oh, pick the best question. Well, I mean, all these are very good questions. Thank you very much. Maybe I'll just pick the HTTPS because this is something a lot of people might overlook, right? Because people talk about DOS, people talk about big volume application attack, but I think this is really a very good.
네.
Yong Mong Yu, thank you very much. I think this is a very good question. Yeah, because encrypted attack is not a lot today, but it's actually slowly rising because hackers are trying to hide their attack in the encrypted traffic so that they can pass through all the firewall, the IPS without much protection. Yeah. Okay.
네, 유영묵님 손 들어주시면 선물 전달해 드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.